Let's talk to Will Kingston now, political commentator and host of the Fire at Will podcast. Will, very good morning to you.
G'day, Mike. I'm calling on location as a Notting Hill refugee. I think I've probably got a better asylum claim than all of the asylum seekers in the United Kingdom, as the government is subsidising sexual assault and murder every year.
Absolutely right. I mean, it seems incredible, as Rafe was just explaining, does it not? It seems incredible that he can actually, you can sit there and say the government's now sort of advertising, the police are kind of advertising how great this is and why you should come, even though likely there will be loads of people stabbed, there'll be dozens of people arrested, maybe hundreds, and there's a pretty good chance that you might need hospital treatment as a result.
Yeah, that's right. We can say to a degree of statistical certainty that today there will be sexual assault, there will be police officers who will be assaulted in their droves, there will be, again, it's so morbid to say this, but if you look at the last few years, there is a very high likelihood that someone will be killed today at this festival.
I'm afraid so. And the police are more or less admitting that. And
the police are admitting that. And once again, the government are pumping money into this. Again, I was being a bit cheeky when I said it, but it's true. This is government subsidised sexual assault and murder. And the reason, and Rafe, I think, put this very well, the reason that it endures is because of the cult of multiculturalism and diversity. And as a result of that, we have to just kind of nod our heads and say, well, what a wonderful festival, what a wonderful tribute to modern Britain this is.
Yeah.
It is a disgrace and it needs to stop. And I think you actually said this very well yesterday, and you had the guts to say this yesterday on Talk when you said, look, let's just be honest about this. It's not British. It's a celebration of Caribbean culture. Yeah, it's not British in any way, shape or form.
No, it isn't.
So more people need to have the guts to say that.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to say stuff like that because that would be wrong, you know, and that's not the London that I know and all of this. It's absolute nonsense what people sort of are willing to believe and what the police actually are willing to believe, because we know the police have been captured by the whole woke ideology and they all stand around saying what a great event it is, despite the fact, with the one hand, explaining that people have been murdered, people have been sexually assaulted. I mean, that police commander, Charmaine, talks about, you know, if you get sexually assaulted or raped, just come and hang out in the safe space and we'll talk to you and see how you feel. Right.
Yeah, I do wonder how many of them genuinely believe it and how many of them are incredibly frustrated by having an administrative layer that is bought into woke ideology. I don't remember, if you remember that bloke, the police officer a few weeks ago who was caught on the home video camera saying, mate, I don't really want to be here. But I hear you're going to a protest tomorrow and I've been told to tell you to, you know, consider your behaviour. I think, again, for every woke police officer, I think there's 10 who are so incredibly frustrated that they have to tolerate this nonsense that is being inflicted upon them. So I do have a lot of sympathy for the police. And I think I also saw a survey a few weeks ago that said something between 80 to 90% of police officers are scared to go and actually police at the Notting Hill Carnival because they think they'll get assaulted, which, you know, unfortunately, there's a very good chance.
Oh, there is a pretty good chance. I mean, there's 7,000 of them there, 15 assaults yesterday on the police, 240 arrests so far. That includes 100 arrests of people before it actually started. And we were saying earlier that we've got, like, what, 100 police officers for, I suppose, every 1,000 people or something like that. I mean, it's ridiculous the way that the ratio is, and how, as Rafe said, for the rest of the city, for the rest of London, you know, it's pretty much lawless because there's not enough police to go around. Yeah.
There was a really funny, well, darkly funny clip I saw on Twitter yesterday, which was superimposing Sadiq Khan's a message to London about the Notting Hill Carnival, which was full of the stupid, you know, tired tropes about multiculturalism and diversity, and then footage of actually what happens. And it was, you know, young men grinding on women and, you know, people punching other people. And I think that actually, again, in a dark way, encapsulated the issue. And
yes, I saw that video,
The footage, the branding is tolerance, kindness, diversity, all of the stupid leftist buzzwords that we have to endure now. And the reality is so incredibly different. But if you dare to question it, suddenly you're a racist. And again, it just comes back to the only cure for cancel culture is courage culture, and it requires more people to have the courage to point out the bleeding obvious.
Yeah, absolutely right. Let's have a look at that video that you mentioned in passing there, not the one about the Notting Hill Carnival, but the Iron of police officers knocking on an anti-migrant protester's door up in the West Midlands.
They're aware that you might be wanting to attend that planned protest, and obviously that's absolutely fine. You've got a freedom of speech, and that's no issues at all. And all they've asked me to do, mate, it sounds daft, so I apologise, and it's really woeful. It's not something I agree with, but I've been asked to do it. It's just to drop a leaflet about being involved in a protest. Actually, it sounds bad, but it is what it is.
Do me a favour. Take it back to them and
Yes,
write
mate.
back on it to them. Say, we will no longer be silenced, and from me, with love. Cheers. Thanks very much.
With love.
Yeah, with love. Yeah.
Cheers, dude.
The silent majority of Britain will no longer stay silent. Tell them that. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
I mean, what's that even about? Why on earth is he even doing that? He knows he doesn't want to do it. He knows it's a pointless activity. He knows that he can't enforce it, and yet he does it anyway.
Well, you know, if you know, Rupert called you up, Mike, tomorrow and said, do this or do that, then you are somewhat obligated to do it. It's your boss.
Slightly different situation, but that's another story.
That's another story. But the point remains that you can tell this bloke, the police officer, is the kind of guy who would be having a pint in the pub with the person that he's putting the leaflet under the door of. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. He's doing the best he can. The police officers aren't paid a great deal of money. It's probably, he looks about, what, 50, 55, maybe something like that. It's probably something he's done his whole life. He can't just go off and then become an accountant. And in the last 10 years of his career, he's seen what was a noble profession change to basically being an arbiter of morality.
Yeah.
And that morality is
of behaviour, which is in no way criminal. The police have got no business. The police got no business recording anything like a non-crime hate incident. The clues in the word non-crime. That means it's not for you as a member of the police officer fighting crime to actually start approaching people who are not committing a crime to tell them not to do it.
Yeah, that's right. But I think we do need to direct our anger most of the time, not at the coppers, but we need to direct it at the people who are creating these laws, which means that non-high crime
But
hate
they're not even
incidents are a
creating
thing.
laws, are they? This is the thing. They keep getting told by governments that they're not the law. They keep being told to stop recording them, and yet they're still recording them. I think what the police need to do as individuals is to say, actually, no, we're not going to do that, because they're perfectly within their rights. I mean, they're not allowed to go on strike. But surely to heavens, they're within their rights to say, if you're asking us to do things which are out with the job description, we shouldn't be doing them.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. And I think it's interesting. Like, there is obviously kind of, and I've spoken to police officers and they say, if you want to get ahead in the police forces of the United Kingdom, you buy into the woke ideology. And so there's obviously this layer of leadership which is just spouting the same terms that we hear every day in the corporates and in media and in politics, because they know that if you say that Britain is a kind, tolerant, multicultural country, and our job as police officers is to enforce that, then you're going to get a commissioner job. So I agree with you. I think that police officers need to take a stand, but I think really we need to be putting pressure as well on the leadership layer of the police forces of the United Kingdom, so they're not forcing.
And so does, by the way, Yvette Cooper, because that's her job as well. She's the Home Secretary. She's the boss of the police. So does Sadiq Khan, also the boss of the police. They're the ones that also have to be given a different message.
Well, again, I don't want to make the obvious point, because I know everyone who's watching this is thinking it. But there's so much real crime that is taking place at the moment, and you only have so many hours in the day to actually, do your job. And for every minute that you're dealing with, woke carnivals or non-crime hate incidents or looking at Twitter to try and find people saying nasty things, you are not investigating, sexual assault, murder, phone theft. London's now the leader of the world in phone theft. This is a balancing act. You have to actually weigh up how much time in the day you have. And obviously they're not putting their time in the right places.
Well, this is the thing. Nearly 800 shoplifting offences reported to police going unsolved every single day. These are new figures coming out from the Home Office. The number of shoplifting offences which have not even been given a suspect, right? 289,464 in the last year alone. And that's not the number of shoplifting cases. That's just the number they don't know who did it.
That's right.
And that's
because
incredible.
no one has trust in the police anymore, so they don't report. And therefore, it looks like artificially the numbers may be either flatlining or going down. And people like Sadiq go and say, well, problem solved.
I know.
We don't have crime in this country.
It's absolutely mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad.